Well, I know the intro was a little off topic of what we're talking about today, though.
Yeah.
But
So did I just saw like this new meme. It says hickeys are outdated. Give your man a black eye so that chicks know you're not messing around.
there we go. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Is your volume down again?
Is it?
Yeah,
How
I
about
can't hear you.
how about now?
I think we're good.
All right.
I didn't get the notification. Oh, there we are. I was looking for ooh, I forgot about the delay. I was looking for Bud's write up. I know I saw it earlier. Yeah,
Yeah,
see, Bud's
yeah,
Bud's already yelling. Turn up your mic.
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shared it. So we have on Facebook and YouTube right now.
What's that?
I said we're live on Facebook
Oh yeah,
and YouTube
yeah.
right now.
What's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTubes? So you had a pretty kick-ass weekend,
Yeah, it was pretty
right?
good.
The daughter parked it.
Yeah, she in the champ cart.
Yeah.
It was cool. Only because the leader spun out in the final corner, but
Listen, I was supposed to start fourth. The guy in front of me decided he was going to the back. I started outside pole. It was over.
yeah.
I mean, there was only me, but win's a win. No.
Wins the win. That's
Yeah.
what I said.
So I did,
Listen, sometimes you get lucky in this game.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, luck is a lot of it.
You know,
Luck is a lot of it. Yeah. So, I see our homeboy Bob Slate just popped in. What's up, Bob? Congrats on another win. I believe they're down there shooting that TV series
Just
now,
did
right?
that.
Down in Orange
Yeah.
County.
Yeah.
Is that Hush Hush?
I guess
You
so.
don't need
Because
no
not many
stinking-
people know about it.
Yeah. So,
There's
but
a lot of race cars there, though.
yeah, man. Thanks, Hank. Appreciate it, brother. So, yeah, Bob's on a roll, 26-point lead right now, coming down to the end there. It looks like maybe possibly another championship there for Mr. Slate.
Yeah.
So, who else was winners? Thursday, right? You didn't go down to the
No, I couldn't make it.
Battle of the
but,
Midway?
Matt
Yeah, you
Shepard-
should have. I could have gotten you one of them fake
I
wristbands you were
could've-
talking about.
That's what I should have did. I didn't get the invite. It's all right.
So, it was okay. I mean, it was just, the fast guy started up front. Anthony Perego and Max McLaughlin, they were putting on a pretty decent race from what you could kind of see. You know what I mean? So it was,
And Shepard got out front. It was
it was follow the leader, man. I mean, they were 3-4 wide, but nobody was passing.
Yeah, it was
So
tough.
it was.
Then the
what it
sportsman
is.
race was even worse.
I went home. Listen, Brian Crummell took the lead. I was like, yep, this is done.
It was too.
Yeah. So,
All right.
but I think that's about it, right? Our homeboy Andy Crane, he took a nasty ride up at the Valley. So,
Oh, that's where that happened.
yeah.
Okay.
But hopefully he's good to go. All that other good stuff. So, but yeah, I guess that's about it. I guess we got a pretty cool little show here for you tonight.
Something different. We're getting off the
Yeah.
dirt, I guess. Going
Yeah, back to the
asphalt.
asphalt, as you say. So that's got a gentleman. He's part of the arca Menards series, and he's also eligible to run the truck series in 2023. So without further ado, you got his name, right? I missed it.
Kyle Lockrow.
Yeah, because I looked him up earlier too. And let's bring him on. Let's do this.
How's it going, everybody?
What's happening, man? Kyle, welcome to the show. Thank you. So let me just real quick. Was it Roger Guest, you and Joel? Are you doing the Marquis Travers race at OCFS on set? I would love to. I'm looking for a ride. If anybody wants to give us a ride, that'd be cool. I'll tow the car, pay your way in, pay for fuel, pay for tires. But I'm not changing my asphalt car right now. That thing's on rails. Anyway, all right. So Kyle, welcome. What's up, brother? How are you? So let's get right into it. How did you get involved with racing?
Joel, Gary, thanks for having me on tonight. Awesome to be here. Looking to expand the fan base in the Northeast, so looking forward to talking to everybody. My story with racing. How do I describe this? It started with cartoon characters and video games. That's the most opposite ways you can get into racing. 7 years old, back in the late '90s. A lot of people remember Diamond Ridge 29 car, Scooby-Doo, Robert Presley, Jeff Green, Jerry Nadeau, Melling Racing. That was what really got me into it when I was a kid. But then Denny and Molly Montag were family friends of mine. I went to school with one of their kids, Andrew, was a classmate. They got me playing the old NASCAR 98 game on PlayStation. And from there, we were rolling. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
So did you start right off in NASCAR, or you had your own stuff? Like, what did you start off racing?
I started out not for another 10 years, actually. I didn't start till I was about 17. I started later. I don't own my own stuff, never have. Yeah. I've primarily just driven for other team owners. I started in Legends cars and 4-cylinders, worked my way up into late models, and then in 2016, I actually started going road racing more full-time just to stay, because it was Champ Car and Lucky Dog Racing and things like that. Just for me, it was a lot of seat time, and it was a relatively cheap cost. But when you're getting to race at places like, the Glen or Daytona, Sebring, Thompson, New Hampshire, places like that on the road courses and stuff, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
So when you say late model, we're talking asphalt late models, not the dirt kind?
No, I haven't had a chance to run any dirt in my career. Ironically, I grew up 15 minutes from Potomac Speedway down here in Maryland, and about 2 hours from Hagerstown. But I never got a chance to run any dirt. I'd like to see if I could do it. I know it's a totally different animal, but I haven't had a chance to do it myself yet. So.
Nice. And now, how many years? So now you're in the ARCA Menards. Well, let's talk about the road course stuff. I looked you up a little bit, and I see it's almost looks like some of like the what they used to call beaters with heaters kind of stuff, 24-hour, stuff like that. And how did you guys get involved with that?
Ironically, through NASCAR. There was Eric McClure, who's unfortunately no longer with us. He was a family friend of mine and kind of a mentor for me when I was getting rolling. And he was always somebody I could rely on and talk to and keep me going even in those tough times. Well, I got a call from him in 2016. Hey, I'm doing a road course program. We use it as a way to get the K&N guys kind of some seat time. And he said, come down to Charlotte and do the road course race with us. It was a 14-hour. Unfortunately, we didn't finish the race, but I actually got to start. And from there, just fell in love with the road course stuff. And honestly, it's been a great way to kind of help my resume and help me move up. And like I said earlier, it's a cheaper way to get a lot of track time. I mean, instead of for sometimes going to run in a late model or a Legends car where you're getting 40, 50 laps of track time, you're getting 2 to 4, potentially 5 hours of track time each weekend, depending on how many races you're doing or how many stints you get. So it's a lot of track time. It's helped me. And ironically, the consistency on the road courses, when you got to come back and do it on the oval, when I did it at Kansas last year for when I made my ARCA debut, it really helped me just be real smooth. And I felt like I was a better driver when I got back to the ovals.
And how did the ARCA ride, how'd that come about?
Well, I was with Andy Hillenberg's fast track team out of Concord for a while. It was a great place to get rolling, learned a lot, did the race with Andy last year. Unfortunately, it's just been tough sponsorship market. We all know that in racing. But Andy's just helped me in so many different ways. But we are actually getting in the midst of getting ready to make a team change. Can't announce who just yet, but we're in the midst of getting ready to make a move where next year we'll be doing some truck and ARCA, and the team's expanding even further than that. So really excited about it. And it's been a good opportunity for me to grow. So.
Andy, absolute great guy. Buddy of mine, Tommy Vai, who actually lives maybe 4 miles from me. He drove for Andy for a little while, and I want to say it was 2019. Tommy wound up Rookie of the Year for ARCA Menards, and Tommy, real good dude. I don't know if you know Tommy at all. Tommy Vai and them guys.
Tommy. I spotted Tommy a couple times this year at
awesome.
Spotted for him at Dover and helped him out a little bit at Charlotte. He's a hell of a guy, great person.
So then you've met Big Mama.
He always has great hair. It pisses me off. He always has good hair.
You feel like he should be in the movie Roadhouse, right?
I don't know about. I mean, that's up to Pam, his wife, her girlfriend. I don't know about that, but but no, he just always has good hair. I mean, nothing, but
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, like what do I do? But I look at Tommy and I'm like, will you please put your hair? Like, put a hat on. You're killing me.
Yeah. So, Big Mama, his wife, I've known her. Oh my God, since I was able to use shampoo on my head. But absolutely good dude, great guy. Andy, I didn't realize who he was when I first met him down in Pocono. Tommy had brought us down there, and then I realized who he was and was like, holy shit, I can't. Yeah, Andy's great guy, absolutely great dude, and what he does for the low buck guys, man, is awesome. But so, how many starts have you had so far in the arca Menards, and what year did you start doing that?
I've been doing ARCA off and on, doing some testing for the last few years, but really I made my debut in the season finale at Kansas last year. It was a last-minute effort. We found out Wednesday we were going to do it. It was a 5th car. We put it together. It was last minute, but we qualified 21st. We were up to about the 15th or 17th position, but the motor ended up starting to go, and unfortunately we just kind of fought the mechanical side of it. But you know what? We showed them we could pass. I was in not a no more. I wasn't in the best stuff. But you know what? That's Andy's program. He gives you the best of what he can give you.
Yep.
And with what he had available at the end of the season, he gave me an opportunity to make the debut, show what I could do, and we're just kind of take that and growing on it. So right now, just the one start, but we're actively working on it. So when I've not been in the car, that's why I keep doing all the road course stuff.
So with a program like Andy's, what would it cost somebody to even like a start and park, something like that? Like how would somebody get involved with working with Andy Hillenberg?
Well, the best way to do it is first of all, you need to submit your resume to ARCA. You need to talk to those guys, find out what you're approved for. And I highly recommend anybody that is trying to come out of like IMCA, Dirt Mods up in the Northeast. Best advice I can give for any of your racers up there: submit your resume to ARCA, talk to Joe Wells, competition director. It works in conjunction. They work very closely with NASCAR for those that aren't familiar. And it really does help you as you move up. But submit to them, find out what you could do, start on a short track or a road course, or shoot, I mean, for some of those guys, start at DeQuoin or Springfield out in Illinois. It's a dirt race, a little bit more of their comfort zone just to kind of get used to the heavier cars and stuff, and just work with Andy. He's a great guy. I mean, he has opportunities where you can go the whole race. I mean, if you're just trying to get your feet wet, he can get you in some partials. But mainly, I mean, you want to try to go the whole race. It looks better and it makes it easier for you. But as far as cost, it really just depends on what you want to do. I mean, to run a whole race with Andy, probably about $35,000-$40,000, maybe a little less than that if you want to run on some older tires and stuff.
Right.
To do it right, probably about $35,000-$40,000. And then obviously if you want to run for a different tier team, cost goes up. But Andy's pretty much one of the most affordable options in the ARCA series.
So now you can't. It's more like that's how it is. You can't just get your own stuff and go racing ARCA.
Oh, you could.
Well, sure you can.
Oh, you could. But what Joel's saying is, if before you spend all that money in a rig and all this other stuff, go run a few races, because Andy's biggest thing is teaching. And Andy will teach you how to race. You can go out there and run all you want and spend all this money, but if you don't know how to do it and you don't know how to do it right, he'll teach you how to stay out of trouble. He'll teach you how to make sure that you do it right. You go out, you know how to do the right things for the officials and the hierarchy, and you don't make a complete idiot of yourself. What he's saying is go get your feet wet with a guy like Andy. Let him show you the way. You can either keep running for him, but if you want to venture out on your own, kind of take a little bit of a piece of his puzzle and put it into yours.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can remember Tommy telling me that when he first started, Andy was telling him, and Andy would kind of yell at him on a race, "Did you just slide the tires?" And Tommy, "Yeah, a little bit." And don't do that, you know. But Tommy actually was starting to do pretty well with it. And I know one of the dirt tracks he was at, he was up to I want to say like 9th or 10th, and they got just caught up in a mess there or whatever. But like I said, yeah, Andy's it is just a great resource for, if you want to get your feet wet, into the ARCA Menards series. That's to me, that would be like one of the teams that I would try to do that with. Yeah, absolutely.
No,
yeah. So have you made a truck start at all, or you're just eligible now? Because I know you have to have a certain amount of tracks, right? Like you have to get a license. So explain to us how that works. So
you have to be eligible for your license, but at the same time too, you've got to submit to NASCAR. You'd work with Brett Bodine. Obviously, everybody knows the Bodines. Brett, the middle brother. Brett's the one that you deal with on the competition side, who oversees the resumes, works with the committee to approve you for stuff. So, like, for example, I can run the truck series, but I can only run up to, at this point, any of the road courses and I can run anywhere from Martinsville all the way up to Gateway. I can't run any higher. Like I can't do Nashville just yet, and it's just a smidge longer. But it's really based on the speed and where they feel you're not going to go out and do anything crazy. But
you're not going to go out and hurt somebody or yourself.
They also don't want you embarrassing. You know, they don't want to embarrass the series, but it's a safety thing. Like, for example, another thing for me, because of the limited amount of starts, I can't race. Like, I would love to be going to Richmond in a couple weeks. It's home track for me being in Maryland. Yeah. But because of the championship, because I didn't make a start prior to when the playoffs started, I can't race the rest of the year in trucks, which sucks because there's like 2 or 3 tracks I'm eligible for with the short tracks and stuff. But unlike IRP, Richmond, Bristol, I can't do them because they're in that playoff.
Wow. I didn't know that. Yeah. Oh, wow. Is it, do they feel that you would be in the way of the guys running for a championship? Like what's the theory behind that? Why wouldn't they allow that?
I think part of it is my lack of starts, the lack of ovals I've probably got on my resume. I think they would be concerned that I don't have what they feel is necessary. I don't have the experience in their eyes to stay out of the way and probably know how to handle myself when the leaders come out. But to be perfectly honest with you, a 36 truck field on a short track really wouldn't be anything big because, I mean, I'm used to dealing with 70, 80 car fields on road courses with flash racing. And for me, trust me, I've been in those positions where I can't get out of the way quick enough because I'm in an A-class car and it's just a 100-some horsepower car and a Miata. I've been in a position where I've been in a 400 horsepower Camaro and I'm trying to not hit guys. So I've been on both sides of that. And it's to be honest with you, it is difficult to figure it out. And honestly, those days in that slower car are some of the hardest days you'll work because not only are you trying to focus on who's in front of you, but you're always in that mirror. And in Champ Car, you don't have spotters. I mean, it's a lot like some of the dirt guys up there where they're running receivers. We don't have, we might have a 2-way radio, but it's a crew chief. And they just might have the tower telling them, screaming at them where to line up. I remember that from Legends cars with the screw chief yelling and get to the inside. It's so many good fond memories of that. It's great. But
we still deal with that shit on a regular Saturday night.
Inside, outside. I'll never forget Jeff, the guy from Shenandoah. He just had that southern twang, but man, getting pissed off on that receiver, man. It was like Boomhauer getting you lined up for that. Road tree, come on, wait. And it was hilarious. I'm trying to get lined up and not miss a shift. I'm laughing so hard because all I'm hearing screeching in my ear.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I've run. They used to have Neats Enduro series. They'd be 100, 150 laps here in a 5/8 mile dirt track. And one of my own crew guys was talking to me on the radio. It got to the point I just pulled the thing out because I was like, "Oh my god, dude, shut up, man! I need you to go higher." And I'm like, "There's a drive shaft up there. There's 5 cars piled into the wall. You want me to go?" He's like, "Dude, you're not listening." He's like, "Yeah, I know, because it's right here. Here's the radio." It's like I couldn't take it anymore. Even now, man, on a regular Saturday night, I don't know how the NASCAR guys are doing it, how you guys do that, with that inside, outside. Dude, after a while, I'm like, oh my God, shut up.
Well, I do that too. When I'm not in the car, I've been spotting all year. There's a young man out of North Dakota, alongside with Tommy, I've done some spotting for him. But one of my other teammates at Fast Track, he's been working his way over out of sprint cars onto the asphalt. Yeah. And I've been coaching them and spotting for them off and on. I did Daytona with them, Talladega, Kansas, Pocono, and I was going to do one other with them, but it didn't work out. So, but it's been an adjustment, but I like spotting when I don't drive. So I know what it's like on both sides.
Yeah. How do you now, if you're at Daytona, how are you seeing the backstretch? I mean, are you on binoculars and all that? And so you're constantly the entire race through that, or how does that work?
It really depends. If you're up in the pack, you're constantly on binoculars looking at stuff, and it really depends. I mean, once they get up closer to you, you can take the binoculars down for a second to kind of reset your eyes so you don't go cross-eyed. But you can also it depends on where they're at. If it looks like it's a close call. I mean, one thing Andy always taught me is don't call it close. If you're not sure, call it on the conservative side. If you're not sure if he's there, just tell him he's there. Just tell him he's there. Let him run a little bit up. Worst case scenario, you lose a spot and work your way to get it back. So it really just depends on if you're up in the pack. In our case at Daytona, the car was a little off. We tended to be in little 2-3 car packs. You don't have to be as up on the binoculars as much, but once the pack comes by you, when they roll the top on you, you better be ready to call something.
I just picture the spotters at Daytona, Talladega, all that stuff. Just one cigarette after another, man. Just Jesus Christ!
There's a lot of Xanax. There's a lot of this, a lot of that, and there's a lot of us that are just begging for it to. Because here's a funny thing, you'll appreciate this. So I spotted both road course races at Mid Ohio and Watkins last year in ARCA, and then as a secondary, and then I did an Xfinity race for one of my Carmen's guys. My first oval in NASCAR that I spotted or in ARCA was Daytona. So talk about trial by fire, and then my second one was Talladega with Bryce. He was brand new to plate racing. I'm new to spotting on the ovals outside of late models. I mean, dude, that was an adventure. So I needed a shot or two after the race. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, is there a lot of arguing and stuff going on up there? A lot of deal making, as far as the spotting and stuff goes? There's
always deals, but I mean, you know how it is. You're up there making deals. I mean, they're worse than politicians up there. And I mean, they're making deals, but the fingers are crossed behind them because, we'll go with you. We'll do this. We're both Chevys. We're both Toyotas. Green flag comes out and you get a run on somebody. That deal is. Yep, exactly. Here comes the middle finger, and we're going to the front because we got a shot at the win. You can make all the deals you want, and honestly, it never pans out 90% of the time.
Jesus. And how many starts do you have planned next year for? Now, do you plan on running a full-time ARCA next year?
we're gonna do a part-time deal for both of them. Honestly, with everything and inflation and all that crap, it's just getting harder with sponsorship. So we're just gonna do a partial schedule. Plus, I still work full time. I still have a full time job. I work in IT for a government contractor, so I've got to be careful when I can and cannot take leave. So for me, I'm thinking if we can run 5 to 6 races in ARCA, maybe do 4 to 5 races in truck. My biggest thing next year is just get the approvals up. I can do everything in ARCA pretty much except for the plate stuff, but all I got to do is go test. The big thing next year is get all the approvals ready for the truck series, and then hopefully in 24, maybe we could either expand the schedule or run a full season. But really, it's just building with the new team next year, getting that relationship between myself and the crew chief and the spotter, and work that up and procure the funding we need, and then from there we'll just work on 24.
Going back to the approvals, I'm still stuck on it. So now, some of these kids that go right to the trucks, some never see ARCA. So if they're down racing the late models and stuff, does that count for that as well?
Oh yeah, that's I think where they look a little more favorably. Like for example, Lane Riggs, Scott's son, just ran for Friesen this past weekend. Did a hell of a job. I mean, to come back from 23rd, a lap down, and drive your way through the field and finish 7th is incredible in a second truck for them. And he's been a good talent. He actually tested one of Andy's cars at the Daytona test in February, and was in the top 5 at one point. Lane is an incredible driver. I mean, so was his dad. But he also has run a lot of late models, a lot of stock cars, and I think what it is, he had good chunk of funding. Let's be realistic here.
That was going to be my other question.
It's funding. Plus, it's a really good team with Halmar Friesen. And honestly, Lane's won championships and races where I don't have the decorated resume that Lane's got because I don't have mom and dad's money. No offense to them, but I don't have mom and dad that can cut me a check. My parents are not supportive of my racing. They don't really follow it. Hell, my dad doesn't even understand it too much. My dad, let's just say my dad was so in the way, my dad was asked to not come back after Kansas. Let's put it that way. we'll leave it at that. But anyway, it's to your point, Gary, it's a lot of your situational stuff, right place, right time. But Lane has a more decorated resume, I think, than I do. And I think at that point, Brett and the committee said, okay, he's got his dad's name behind him, but he's also run a lot of stuff. He understands the stock car side of it on the ovals. I think they kind of can look okay, we can trust this, and he backed it up. I mean, in his defense, he did he did his job. And
but that's exactly what I was getting at.
So Sean Core, Sean, very good friend of mine. I tell my kids all the time, see that guy right there? I lost Rookie of the Year to that guy my first year racing in Middletown. But Sean was telling me because he won Syracuse, which was a dirt mile track, that clicked off one of those boxes for him to be able to run some of the mile and a half tracks because he had won Syracuse. And, so all that stuff, it all adds up. But Sean said it took him a while to like you were saying, Kyle, to really just it's almost like the video game, man. You got to check off those boxes in order to be able to move up because, they don't want you out there either hurting yourself, hurting somebody, or like you said, making NASCAR look like shit.
Yeah, and they can't afford that. They've had enough cases over the years where they've had guys. I mean, there was a guy I remember at Charlotte that turned a guy intentionally down the backstretch, and he got demoted because of that move. He was pissed off, and it was a guy out of short tracks who was well known. Can't remember his name, but I just remember there was a guy that he didn't like the move he made on him, so he hooked him down the middle of the backstretch and turned him head on in the wall. And NASCAR said, yeah, you've now lost your mile and a half clearance. Nice job. You can go back and run the short tracks, and you can prove this all over again. Yeah. So that right there shows you, they're not screwing around. I mean, that was a number of years ago, but they don't want to be put in that position, and there's no reason they should have to be put in that position. Now, I personally, for me, I feel like with everything that I'm doing with all the class racing and having to race so many cars, I feel like I could do it where you could put me in a 36 truck field in the championship, and I know how to watch the mirror and stay out of the way. But I understand NASCAR's side of it too with the risk. But if you talk to anybody I've raced with for the last 6 years, they could tell you he's the least problem you'll have to worry about because he understands it. I've been on both sides of the stick. I get it.
Right.
Now, I mean, for where I look at, it's definitely more like a rich, these kids coming in with a lot of money and getting some of these rides. I mean, you see it like that?
Oh yeah, it makes you sick some days because you're going, not that they haven't necessarily earned it, but it's going, there's a check behind that deal, and it just annoys the crap out of you because you could take that thing and do a good job with it, and there's a few opportunities that I know I could have done well with, and unfortunately, I didn't have enough zeros on the check. Or the money didn't get there, and I got beat out by it. I mean, that's part of it. It's a business, but it's frustrating. I mean, like I said, I don't have family backing. My parents don't support this. They've given a little here and there, but it was more, there's guilt attached with that. So I tend to not take it if possible. But it's just I want to do it the right way. I also want to be the guy that earned it the old school way.
So I was going to say, do you think that still exists?
Yeah,
you hear Tony Stewart and you hear Kevin Harvick talk about this all the time, that the days of guys earning their way into NASCAR are pretty much over. Do you think that still exists?
It's less than 5%, and I think I'm in that. I think I'm in that 5%, that less than 5 percentile because of my situation. I'm the team that we're getting ready to go to. I'll be honest with you. I went in and sat down with the general manager, with my management director of all my marketing and stuff, and I pleaded with the individual and told him, look, I am looking to be here for the long haul. I'm not looking to just make 3 or 4 starts and go somewhere. I want to be here. I want to help this team grow. And they're keeping me in consideration for it because I actually went and sat down with them for an hour or so and talked to them. And they knew who I was, and they looked up like you guys did. They looked up what I did, my background and everything. But I flat out told them from the start, I'm not going to lie to them and say, oh, I've got this blank check. No, that's a bunch of crap. Why lie to them? They're going to figure it out.
Yep.
I went in and told him, I said, look, I want to be here. I have to procure the funding, but I need a home, and I want to find a place that I can make this work. And honestly, for me, it made me feel good to know that I went in there and just was honest as hell with them. And I'm under consideration for some stuff with them, which honestly made me feel better.
And if you don't mind me asking, Kyle, how old are you?
I'm 32.
So at 32 years of age, and this is coming right from Sean Core, Sean said pretty much after you reach the age of 30, if you've not secured a ride for the rest of your career, that's pretty much it. Like there's not too many teams that are going to look at you because they're looking at the younger generation. Yeah. Do you think that that's true?
No, it's going back the other way.
Is it?
A lot of these owners are starting to get burned because of these young kids with money that are wrecking stuff every week.
So always a fan of NASCAR. Always a fan of any kind of racing. I don't like the new cars, but I still will put on a race every once in a while. You don't see the personalities like you used to have. And I'm talking guys that are, 45 years and older. Earnhardt was 50 and still winning races. Yeah. You got Kenny Schrader who's pushing 70, and this guy can still wheel cars. Yeah. And I think that's the diversity that everybody's maybe looking for. And I'm not saying that NASCAR is shit by no means is it. It's not. But it just seems like it's catered more towards the younger generation.
The dynamic changed about 15 years ago. And honestly, before the economy and the recession hit in 2008, when all the development deals were out there and money was being thrown at a lot of these drivers that were getting these deals with Evernham and Hendrick and Roush and Gibbs. And when that era was going on in the early to mid 2000s, I mean, there were guys coming in from left and right out of BFE, and you know who they were, and they were getting opportunities, but there was a little bit of money for them there to go out and figure it out.
Right.
Well, in my mind, they were going for the younger generation because they were trying to pull that younger crowd. Well, the problem is, in my mind, they've gotten to the younger generation, which is great. And there have been a lot of guys, Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman and different guys that are really good on the show and really good that were brought up the right way to race. Right. But then you've got a lot of guys that were brought up with a blank check where I'll just bring the car back in whatever condition and mom and dad will buy me a new car. Well, the problem is it's costing the car owners a lot of money. It's causing the crew guys a lot of extra work where they're not developing anymore, and the crew chief's not developing a notebook. I mean, you guys get this. You're racers. You're not developing your equipment. You're not developing your team. You're spending more time.
You can't make the car faster if you're busy fixing the shit every week.
Right, exactly. And the way I look at it is I think a lot of teams are looking, they're still willing to take a check from a guy that's got the money. But two, they're tired of these younger guys that don't have the maturity and are tearing stuff up. And there's some guys that you notice aren't back in cars. And I think that's part of it. And that was one thing with me. And I'm an advocate for this because that's just how I've had to race my whole career. I do everything I can to not tear up equipment. I mean, yes, we all do, but I don't have the choice. If I tear up equipment, my next race I had planned is down the crapper really quick.
Yep. Yeah, that's my crew guy too. He tells me all the time, "Listen, man, don't tear the car up." And my thing is, dude, when was the last time I tore the car up? You know what I mean? Because it's just especially when it's coming out of your own pocket. And I think that if some of these guys, some of these younger kids, even in the the lower classes and stuff like that, if they start showing up to the shop and start having to put this stuff together themselves and take a little bit of money, you know what I mean? Listen, every time you tear a car up, I'm taking $10,000 a year money.
Yep. Well,
I think that they would start using this a little bit more, and you know what I mean. It's just it gets to it's almost like you almost feel frustrated for the guy that they're running over.
And you do, because especially he's an independent. You don't know who the guy is. That might have been everything. He might have put everything into that race, and he might only be running a limited schedule. And he's having a kick-ass night where he's running up front. He's in the top 5. That thing's hooked up. He hit the setup, and then here comes the little guy with money, and he just is driving through everybody, and he ruins that guy's night. Well, that guy's season could be gone, especially if he tags the motor or whatever. And the young kid, we'll just cut a check and we'll get a new car, and bam, we're going to the next race next week.
What are your thoughts about NASCAR and them putting some races back on the dirt?
I think it's a good move. The only thing is, I think they're starting to, with this experiment, they're starting to find the trouble spots on the cars where they're not as comparable to dirt. It's not like it was back when they were running dirt in the 60s and 50s. Those cars could easily be flipped. I think now it's harder to flip the cars because they've been off of dirt for so long. I think you need a completely different car to be accessible on dirt. Yeah. But I don't know. I've never driven it, so I'm probably not the best person to give an opinion. I would talk to somebody like Friesen, who could probably tell you more than I could.
Yeah.
All I can tell you is it puts on a decent show, but I know from looking at it and seeing the frustration of some of the guys, you can tell the car doesn't drive well because it's not built primarily for the dirt.
Yeah. But I think that the one of the coolest things that they did, and of course, Stewart's, he's from the Northeast and he's a big block modified guy. Matter of fact, our local track here, his car owner runs the place, Orange County Fair Speedway. And I think that, that race there is really kind of what put him on the map, that Eldora race when he got the first win, because it was, you're trying to do something, with a truck or a car that it's not supposed to do. I know Richard Petty, he can't stand it. He hates it. He feels it's a step backwards.
He and I get where he's coming from with that, because I mean, they spent so much time off of dirt, but you're trying to take a car that's not, I mean, these things are engineered technological spaceships now. They're not they're not the 69 Chargers and the Torinos that you were racing back in the 60s that you could just slap some dirt tires on that sucker, swap the setup a little bit and go sling that thing around Wilkesboro or when it was dirt, or go sling that thing around the dirt tracks of the South and things like that. It's just not that way anymore, or dirt track anywhere. But it's a different dynamic now. It's different than it was years ago, and I think they've gotten so far away from the fans back then. Right. They're trying anything to get them back, but yet they can't balance the new generation and the old generation because it's turned into such a pissing match between both.
The demographics have changed.
Yeah.
For NASCAR, even for our local racing and stuff, it's not what it was. The older fans are gone. Or they're just, there's no interest in it. And it's one of those, any track promoter will tell you can't please everybody. And I think that's kind of what's going on. Do I think NASCAR's starting to slowly come back? I do with the dirt racing and stuff like that. I do.
But did they change course because of people like Tony Stewart and now Kyle Larson? Because NASCAR, they never really was the dirt thing, but now they see their own guys that kind of prefer racing on dirt. As Tony said many times, that's where he makes his living, but the dirt is where he has the fun.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a number of ways they lost it, in my opinion. The first thing they did is the relationship between the drivers and the garage and the fan base is going like this. And the reason I say that is you look at a lot of these guys. Okay, Richard Petty, to your example, Joel. Right after a race, Richard could be tired as hell, just drove 500, 600 miles. What is he doing? He'll sit there and sign autographs, but it's legible. It's legible.
Yep.
Some of these guys get out of a car, scribble, take off. And they're on a helicopter or a jet, and they take no time for the fans. Getting them to do anything. And another reason they lost it is the sponsorship. What we're hearing in my position, and my manager, Tanya, who takes care of a lot of my stuff and helps with it, she is the one that is full force doing a lot of the calls and working to find funding. The biggest thing we hear all the time, we didn't get our activation fulfilled. We never had the driver do an appearance on the midway. The driver fought and wanted an additional fee to do all this stuff. Mm-hmm. I understand getting some travel and things paid for here and there because of logistics, but they're paying X amount of money to sponsor you. In my opinion, you take the time and you sign, and you don't bitch and piss and moan about it. If they're funding your racing, these people are, and the loyalty with NASCAR, 70% and all the statistics, I won't bore everybody with that. But just that's where a lot of it's fallen off the rails. It started with the garage. Back in the day, those guys cared. The generation now doesn't care because mom and dad fund it. They don't have to do it because mom and dad, they are guaranteed a check in their eyes. They don't have to work for it because they don't care. They don't relate to the common man. They don't relate to the guy who works 40 hours a week in his garage, goes home, pays his bills, gets everything done, and takes that little bit of savings he's got to take the family to the New Hampshire race for the annual event in July. They don't understand that because they've never had to go through something like that, because everything has kind of not necessarily been handed to them, but it's been easier to get. And I think a lot of it is they lost their way because yes, they got off the dirt tracks, but they don't relate to the fans because they don't let the drivers have a personality. Everybody now is so PC about everything. I mean, you can't. If you want an honest opinion, stick a microphone in a driver's face after he gets wrecked. If you don't want an opinion, don't put him on a mic, because you're going to get every 4-letter word that what is it, the old SpongeBob episode, the 7 words you don't say or whatever.
That's George Carlin. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what you don't get if you don't stick a mic in their face. You don't get those clips to throw on ESPN. Yes, your PR person's got to work like hell on Monday to fix it, but a lot of sponsors are even saying, my drivers don't have personality. There's not anything that's relatable to where these fans are spending the money at the merchandise trailer. They're spending the money on ABC company or service to supply this, to give them a return on investment to do this. So, I mean, there's a host of reasons they've lost the base.
Yeah.
I can tell you,
Yeah. And I was going to say, like, the PR thing, we tried to have other guys come on the show, and it's like jumping through hoops and hurdles through, like, PR people and all this stuff. And we actually had Christian Eckes on, and that was kind of like, I knew him. I actually worked for his father. But even that, I was asking him about it. It's a lot of PR stuff that they got to go through just for appearances.
But it shouldn't be that way. I mean, for God's sake, it's extra media. Okay, I didn't race Pocono, and I know I'm getting off on tangents. But
no, man, dude, listen, this is stuff that I think people don't see behind the scenes, and you're 100% correct.
It frustrates me, and because I have to work so hard to get this, and I know I sound like, I'll get a tissue and start crying and moaning here in a second, get in the fetal position.
But you're not wrong. You're 100% correct.
But it frustrates me because, like, for example, I didn't race Pocono. I spotted for Bryce on Friday, and then I was there for the new team on Saturday. Was there, saw him for a little bit, wished him well, helped him set up a little bit on the pit stall. But in between doing all that for 4 days, I did 14 appearances with potential clients that we're working with, and also with people that asked us to do stuff. One of the series sponsors for ARCA asked us to come up and just do some PR in the suite, talk to some guests, just answer questions, be a mouthpiece, help them. Like, I brought my suit. I was in my suit almost all day Sunday, doing stuff on the midway, hanging out, doing the tweet up with Bob Pockris, and just little things like that, going that extra mile to show these people, I am going to give you your return on investment, but I'm also not afraid to get in front of a camera, get in front of a mic. I will give you what you need, and I will give you what you're asking for, and then some. Just give me a shot to do it. But these guys don't have to do it because somebody's giving them a check somehow, or they don't have to go after their own stuff.
Listen, I can tell you right now, if you were to pay me $60,000 a year to drive your race car and do that for a living, what else do you need?
Exactly.
What do you need? You know what I mean? You need me to mow the lawn? I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? And it's everybody's, bitching and moaning about Tony Stewart and his attitude is horrible and this and that and the other thing.
Tony is so honest. He learned his way from AJ Foyt. Tony is a go-getter.
My wife works the back gate at the Orange County Fair Speedway. She said he is one of the nicest guys going, right? So you get a lot of your, big block modified guys here from the Northeast and will literally go up to the window almost as if you don't know who I am. You should know who I am. You know what I mean? That kind of attitude. I had a chance to meet Tony a few years ago. He came to Orange County, and then he was in the office afterwards. And we literally sat down like two old friends bullshitting in the office. And, dude, what a down-to-earth, just absolutely great guy. And the stuff that you see is what people want you to see. But he's one of the last guys. Now, Larson, from my understanding, he's one of the guys. He'll take the time. He'll talk to you. He'll sign some stuff. You know what I mean? And you need more of that. You need more of that, and not this, I don't want to talk to anybody right now because I'm upset. If it wasn't for you're putting on a show. So you got to have the fans in order to put on a show. You don't have the fans, and what are we here for?
They're the ones paying they're the ones paying for the tickets. They're the ones paying for the concessions. They're the one paying for the merchandise that you're charging $35 a shirt or hat or sticker or whatever on the trailer outside of the gate and doing all the stuff on the midway. They're the ones who are paying for that, which that return goes back into your racing. No, you damn well owe them that time, even if it's just for a minute or two. Like for me, I always try to shake their hand, ask their name. any autograph I do, if I have time, I try to personalize it. I try to put their name on it because I want them to remember that. Even if I don't ever meet them again or I never get a chance to see them, or hopefully I do get to see them. I have started seeing some familiar faces. I'm terrible with names, but I try my best, but I meet a ton of people.
Yeah.
But I
forget my kids' names sometimes, dude. I got a lot of them. But yeah.
I get it. I mean, with what I do at work, because I mean, especially with all the COVID situation with my day job, I'm like, wait a second, you're okay. Yeah. Starts with an S and sounds like or something. Yeah, right, exactly. But I want it to be memorable because they're going to remember that, and it stands out. And if I can make a difference, one freaking fan at a time, and get people back in those damn stands, I will do whatever I got to do.
Yeah. So
going to the fans, like I listen to a lot of podcasts and like NASCAR radio. They have people call in, and there was a race earlier in the season as somebody called on and trying to get autographs on cars and stuff, and the driver got a little ticked off because he knew that guy was going to wind up selling that for a profit. Do you think that plays into these drivers' minds, like, they're going to profit off my stuff?
Yeah, yes and no. Yeah, you've always got to be careful, but I mean, 9 times out of 10, most of the fans just want it because it's memorable. But the way I look at it is too, there's a small sponsor I work with. He does it's called Devin's Deals, and he's a friend of mine, and I'm actually helping him. He's wanting to get into spotting, so I let him come out to Kershaw and spot for me. But he does a lot of resale stuff of memorabilia. I've got stacks of cards sitting here that I've signed. If he wants to charge $1 for them, go for it. You know the way I mean, yes, okay. You've got to protect yourself to an extent. But you know what? If you've got people that are willing to pay money for this kind of stuff, look at it as an investment in the sport. Your autograph, or you're going into that, you're helping expand the reach and get new people, and somebody might want to buy that's interested in getting more into racing, or that could be a new fan. If you get some scumbag that's trying to make a ton of money off of it, you go after that single person, but 95% of the fans don't do that. But Devin,
it's for their own personal,
and for Devin's Deals and stuff, he's reselling stuff to diehard fans of people that collect from drivers that they appreciate. And if they want to buy those cards for a very cheap price, I'll sign them all day long and get, if that's what it takes.
Listen, even
they got to have royalties. So if I buy a Chase Elliott diecast, he has to have royalties off that diecast to start with.
He won't. Yeah, he's made royalties off of certain things like that, but off of the resale stuff, no, you're not going to make any money off that.
But I'm saying the initial royalty. If this guy buys it and sells your autograph, I think that's what it comes down, selling the autograph.
Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker to it. A lot of the drivers now, they don't have at least that I've noticed. There's one thing that I've noticed a lot of drivers don't get, and they don't think about. Their licensing and their likeness. And that's something that I've looked into, even at the position I'm in, because I was listening to one of Junior's podcasts a long time ago, and Jeff Gordon talked about how back in the day, he and Schrader and Labonte and all those guys used to talk about the deals they used to do, like when Gordon and Earnhardt worked together with the action deals.
Mm-hmm.
If you get your likeness and your licensing and you get all that kind of stuff, one, you're going to protect yourself from the outright before you even become a household name. But two, then you're protected from those kind of scumbags. But three, little things like that, you look at it as a reinvestment in the sport is the way I look at it. As long as you're protected, little reinvestments for things like that, for a Devin's Deals, that's something that I see as bringing fan base into where I'll make money off the royalties later on. That might be a naive way to look at it, but I'm looking long term. I'm not looking at making money tomorrow. I'm looking at something I can do 10 years down the road so I can retire and maybe put money into my kids or reinvest in a race team or the business that I've, helped create with the management side. So
listen, even when I was a kid, I mean, even at the level that that I'm at, just a local street stock guy, I remember one of the drivers, Dickie Crumley was his name, and after I mean, the guy won all the time, and he would pick a kid in the stands and hand that kid the trophy, and I always remembered that, and just the interaction that he had, and even like this past weekend, man, I made it a point to run over to the stands. We had a good night Saturday. Run over to the stands, and one of the guys that he writes a blog for the Speedway, and we call him the super fan, Bud DeGennaro. But to go over and give the guy a hug. Yep. You need more of that. You need more personality. You know, they not to blow my own horn, but they call me the rooftop shuffler because when I win, which is pretty rare, I dance on the roof. You know what I mean? And it's not like, oh, you know, you're showboating, you're showing off. It's not. I'm interacting. This is the entertainment that we're here to put on a show. Let's fucking do that. Let's put on a show.
No, you shouldn't. But that's perfect. Why did Carl Edwards do a backflip?
Right?
Why did Alan Kwiatkowski do a Polish victory lap? That was his way to get back to the fans. That's how he was different.
Yes.
I mean, that's exactly what we need. Give the fans a hug. Shake their hand. Let them know you care about them.
There have been times when people will post a video, and I find it so humbling, and just, you know, because I like to have a good time, man. I got a great sense of humor. I like to have a good time, and especially when I win, because I'm always like, I can't believe I just won again. You know, I'm that kind of guy. But I've had videos that people have sent me, and I hear the crowd go, "Mom, watch, he's gonna dance," and to me, that's you know, it's almost like watching WWE. Here comes the finisher. You know what I mean?
Or it's like that Leonardo DiCaprio thing. Oh, there it is. Or he's pointing.
There it is.
You're in. Yeah, exactly.
You know, I feel like you're not getting that at a NASCAR. Like, you know, as soon as they get out of the car, it's you know, listen, I gotta thank eHarmony for my girlfriend, and I want to thank, you know, they ravel off the sponsors, and then
I call them trained robots.
Well, you know, the car was really good, and the team did really well, and we were really fast, and everything was good, and the tires held air, and, you know, we got air from Canada, and I want to thank Canada, and thank you so much. And it's, you know what I mean? It's, you know, listen, I want to hear like Darrell Waltrip. If that son of a bitch runs into me one more time, that's the stuff I want to hear. Listen, be real about it. But we're so politically correct, and they're so worried about, oh my God, my sponsor's going to drop me if I say this. Now, I'm not saying going out and be a racist piece of shit. No, don't do that. But show some emotion, man. You know what I mean? Show something. But everybody's so nervous, like, oh my God, don't say that. Can't say that. Don't say that.
Well, it's such a different climate we live in, and unfortunately, it's getting into everyday life where it's hard to have that personality because you've also got PR people like, oh, don't do that, or like, you know what? A little bit of controversy is not a bad thing, and going up and being happy and jump on the fence and high fiving the fans, show them that you care. And let them get them involved. Don't just stand there and wave at them. That's great. They're not going to remember that. Get up there and high five them, like what Tony used to do when he'd climb the fence and get up in there and let them huddle around him. I mean, that's why Tony's Tony.
Yeah. Listen, man, I think that you are definitely Nate, idiot. Nate Stevens, he does the Unruly Race. He's one of our show sponsors here. He's over there with a TGIR mark. He does this Unruly Race, which is there's no rules. You just have to run DOT tires. And he calls me the tiny dancer. So, it's retarded. But anyway. But,
I just want to ask one question, though.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Again, you talk about the Dale Jr. podcast, and it was like last year or the year before, he was talking about the days of big contracts are over, and now we're looking at Kyle Busch being in this situation, and everybody's like, well, maybe Dale was right. What do you think? You think the days of the big money contracts are done?
I think they're not as lucrative as they were years ago because the money is not there. But also, Kyle's in a different position. Kyle has ruffled feathers the wrong way at times. He's got a personality. I mean, to your point, but the problem is with some of the stuff that he's done.
Not a fan, but I like watching him.
He's got a personality, but also too from that corporate side.
Is he marketable?
Is he marketable anymore? So I think he'll be kind of 3/4 of that big contract deal because I mean he does bring the name with him, the championships, and the resume. The only problem is in today's market is he's somebody that they consider a weapon in that, where he's more of a liability for the investment rather than a positive investment. So I don't know how it's going to go. Honestly, it's kind of hard to tell you.
Right, and is he willing to take a pay cut to go to stay maybe with Joe Gibbs if he can find a sponsor deal. You know what I mean?
I think he's gone. Honestly, I think
so
that
too.
relationship's run its course. I mean,
Yep.
just kind of like with the M&M's deal. I
Yep.
think Mars and Kyle have run their course. I
Yep.
think they need to go do different things. I think Kyle needs to do something different from Gibbs just for
Yep.
his. I think he needs to kind of like when Gordon and Everham split up, when Junior and Yuri and Knaus and Johnson split up. I think Kyle needs to. He needs to go reprove himself for himself, and I think it'll help him. And I think Gibbs needs to just do something different. Let's be realistic. I mean, who was in the 45 car the last 2 weeks? They said he wasn't going cup racing.
Yep.
Let's be realistic. I mean, who do you think will end up probably in that 18 car next year?
Oh no, I agree there, but that's the thing. I mean, I hate that he's a hell of a driver, you know. But where would he wind up? That he's not going to Hendrick. You know what I mean? Like what? Stewart Haas.
I think
that's
Stewart
the
Haas
only fit I see.
I think Stewart Haas is an option. I don't think he'll ever be back at Hendrick because from what I've heard, he's burned a lot of bridges there. I think Stewart Haas could be an option, but to be honest with you,
I think you got two bulls.
I'm not. I
Yeah.
think maybe for a year I could see him maybe at Stewart Haas, but let's just say he doesn't end up in that 8 car over at Childress in 24 either. Because remember, Casey Kane did announce he was going to Hendrick, spent a year in a Red Bull car to hang out till the opening came. I mean, now that opening's happened with Reddick, I think Kyle is on Richard's radar because, I mean, he's like Earnhardt, just a younger version.
Yeah.
But you're talking Toyota's big time with Kyle Busch.
Well, that's
I mean,
if
the loyalty is there. I don't. Man, that's a tough one to switch to Chevy. You know.
Well, he was Chevy when he started, so who's to say Chevy probably wouldn't pay a little bit to get him back?
Yeah.
But it depends on what that relationship was. The question is, how many bridges did he burn years ago, and was he able to rekindle those relationships?
Absolutely.
Kyle, man, I think that you've got your head on right, man, and the way you're going about it. I got to appreciate that. I really do. I've been racing as a driver for 22 years, and I had never really had any aspirations of making NASCAR, but I'm just happy to be driving a car, man, and that's what it sounds like you're doing. You know what I mean? You're just happy to be where you are, and you know what I mean? But I love the fact that the way you're going about it, it's old school. It really is. You're paying your dues, and I think that's awesome. Yeah. Out of all the tracks that you've run, what's your favorite place to go?
Oval so far is Kansas. I love that place in Charlotte. My home track is Richmond. That's just I've had so many memories there as a kid, but I haven't raced it yet.
Yeah.
But road courses, Watkins Glen. I've had so many good runs at Watkins, and I've fallen in love with that place over and over again, and I love it. But that would be if I could. I'm hoping I get to make that ARCA race in a few weeks at Watkins Glen. If we get everything put together, I'm hoping to do that in Bristol the rest of the year in ARCA with the new team, and then next year hopefully we can tack on some more.
Hell yeah, man. So out of all the races that this is something we like to ask everybody that comes on here. Out of all the races that you could possibly win, other than, well, for you would be the Daytona 500, what would be the one race that you would really want to win?
Richmond. It's home.
Richmond,
First autograph, my Grammy, who is no longer with me, I lost her about 11 years ago. It'll be Thursday to pancreatic cancer. She was one of my biggest supporters, and we saw one of our first races there. She has always been by my side. She rides with me right here in a picture with her and my papa almost every race. And if I could win at Richmond and do and just do a lap around there with her picture on the dashboard, that would be bigger than the 500 for me. But one of the best races this year, honestly, and so far, I won my first race ever this year in the rain at Carolina Motorsports Park, and I was dealing with a clutch going bad, brakes fading, and I had no wiper on the car, and I had her riding with me. And honestly, if it wasn't for that, I don't know how I got through that. And honestly, to this point, that was probably one of my favorite races this far because she helped keep me motivated through that race.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, good stuff. Let's talk about some of your sponsors so far this year and some of the people that have helped you out.
We've added some guys recently. Home services restoration. They do a lot of disaster. Coming back from that, turning disaster into happily ever after is Greg Reynolds and his staff here in Southern Maryland. Mid-Atlantic Source One. They do a lot of cable management and fiber optic work. I also work with Devon's Deals, Countertops, by Design. Sorry, it's got so many of these guys. G3 Graphics, Southern Sun Graphics, my buddy Ryan Selgren, his business, NW Audio, Nick White out of Charlotte. He does a lot of some of my video stuff. KLR Management Group, who oversees all of my stuff day to day when I'm not in the race car. Let's see. We've got Path Water. We just signed with them for a deal for the rest of the year and hopefully for next year. So they are big into the green initiative with reusing bottles, things like that. So definitely something you can use. Nice water bottles in the car too. They take a nice beating too, especially when you get drivers. So So, but just really thankful to all those guys that support me and are helping me. TMI Racing Products out of VIR, Don Frady and his staff. Anytime I need something, they're great. Team Ant-Man, really good friend of mine through a group I run with out of Virginia. One of the little guys has cystic fibrosis. Ant-Man, if you're listening, we love you, buddy. Keep fighting the fight. We'll find you a cure for that. And just everybody that supports me, all my fans and family that does care, and everybody. So if you guys want to find out about me, www.kylelockrow.com. We've also got a QR code that if anybody, we'll send it to you guys, but if anybody wants to find out what we've got going on, this is the best way to do it. Scan that. It's got all of our stuff, website.
Can we get that on the site there?
Yeah, I can put.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've also got a. I'll send it to you guys when we get off here. And then we're also doing a fan car at Bristol, where there's on my website. It's called #fan car experience. You can pay for one of the levels. There's 6 experience levels, and you can pay to get your name on the race car. And we're just trying to do that, give back to the fans, help that fan base. And we're still working to finalize Bristol, but anybody that wants to be a part of it, it's all on the website. So that's the best way to find it. Tanya Banning is the one that handles all my stuff. She's the best one to find out. Anybody that's interested and want to partner with me as a potential partner or sponsor, reach out. We've got a bunch of openings for next year and this year.
Excellent.
And
Kyle,
it's Devon's Deals. Devon's Deals. Is there a website or something for that?
On Facebook. If you go to Devon's Deals on Facebook, there's a page for it. Okay. David White, he runs it. He does auctions multiple times a week for stuff. Okay. He's always doing stuff. He'll have a bunch of my stuff here soon the next time I can get to Charlotte. So go on there. He's got all kinds of racing memorabilia.
Okay.
Big Red Customs. He also does custom diecast. His name is Justin Balliot. He's kind of become a buddy of mine. He's doing some customs of stuff I've always wanted as a kid because I collect the diecast since I was 11. Yep. Started doing that with my Grammy. He's helping me kind of fill ones that weren't really made. So go talk to Justin. He does great work. He might even be able to do some customs for you guys too on the short track. So he can pretty much do anything. So
cool. I'm down with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll check it out.
But Kyle, thank you so much for joining us, man. This has been a great conversation, man. And like I said, dude, I look forward to watching your career grow. I really do. I really wish that there were more guys like you that were making their way into NASCAR the way you're doing it, and not just just not because of a last name, you know what I mean? So, dude, I wish you nothing but success. And listen, after a couple of more races next year, I'd love to have you back on, man, and see where you're at.
I got Gary, Joel. Thank you guys so much for letting me be on it. It's been a pleasure. It's been an awesome conversation. Thank you for letting me just show the passion and just let me be energetic. I love this sport so freaking much. And I want to get these fans back in the stands. And absolutely, anytime you need somebody, please feel free to give me a call.
Awesome.
You can reach out to me or Tanya.
Listen, don't get too famous because we don't have to go through your PR person.
Just go through Tommy. I'm sure he'll find you.
Exactly. Listen, I'm that Big Mama though. Hey, Big Mama, you need to let Kyle know we want him back on the show.
No, Tommy's but no, thank you guys so much.
No worries.
Gary, I'll email you both those QR codes, the fan code and my code. Thank you guys so much. Joel, good luck the next time you're racing. If you ever want to do some road racing with us, give me a buzz, man. We always got open seats.
Listen, I might take you up on that.
Yeah,
man. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
There you go.
We run New Hampshire and Thompson, and the Glen come out and putt around with us on the road courses, bud.
I might do that. I got to see what the wife says.
Hey, talk to the boss and reach out and let us know, man.
All right. Sounds good.
Go.
Kyle, thank you so much, brother. We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right, man. Take care.
Dude, that was. I like the behind the scenes stuff in NASCAR. You know, everybody sees what they see on Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. And dude, the kid is just. Dude, I'm impressed. I really am. I thought the days of working your way in were over. You know what I mean? I think Tony Stewart was one of the last guys to really earn his way in to NASCAR.
Right. Yeah, and it gives you that different perspective of working your way in, and he showed what the ins and outs were. Yeah. That was cool.
You know, Tommy Vi did the same thing years ago. You know, he wound up Rookie of the Year, the arca Menards series. Yep. And, you know, just the great opportunity that he had. I mean, he ran a full season with ARCA, and I think he wound up like 10th in points or 9th in points, something like that. Yep. And and even now he's doing a lot of like starting parks and stuff for Andy Hillenberg. But to go out and just do, say, 10 laps at Charlotte, dude, I'm game. Let's do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just cause, you know?
And he's so spot on with everything. Same thing with like the PR stuff.
Yeah,
you know, he's so spot on. It's so hard to get people. And I seen, I think Fred Graff, so he must be related to Joe. I tried to get Joe to come on the show, and it was a nightmare through the PR people.
Fred is Joe's uncle.
His uncle? Okay.
Yeah.
But that was we wound up not even doing it because it was too much back and forth.
Yeah.
You know.
It's just
people like this was easy. I got his cell phone number. It was easy, you know.
Yeah, that's you know, and that's great. I love what he's doing. You know what I mean, dude? We're just a little rinky-dink show, but to have a kid on here like that, and that just shows where his head is at.
He reached out to us.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So, but
that's cool.
Yeah, man. So the Marquis Traverse Memorial Race for Street Stocks this weekend, this coming Saturday. Street Stocks are off at Bethel Motor Speedway, but Bethel is running. They do have a full show. Orange County Fair Speedway, full show. I want to say they're down to the final 8, right? Orange County?
8, yep.
Some shit, yeah. Yep. But Bo Williams, Joe won the win at Bethel. Thanks, brother. So that's a great race. It's starting to become one of the biggest races in Street Stocks. You know, it's one of those ones that you want to win.
And it's cool how many modified guys stepped up and helped out
and have donated. Yeah,
man. To me, that's
the memorial race is something special. You know, I never got the chance to meet, Marky, but the Travers family, absolutely a staple at Orange County Fair Speedway. Great family. I love what they do. I love what they do, for that race.
And we interviewed them the last time.
$200 to the best cheater. So if anybody gets caught cheating, Nate Stevens is sponsoring that. So, but Jay, what's up, brother? Jay Severson, dude. I saw your back up at Accord Speedway there last week.
He's a cool dude. First time I met him.
Jay and I worked together at Accord. Yep.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Good dude.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah. So just to throw this out there again, I know I put a post up a little over a week or so ago, but we are a fully funded team. We are looking for a ride for this Saturday at the Orange County Fair Speedway. You want the resume, 21 wins there, a championship. I've won Eastern States. I've won a lot of races in Middletown. Of course, not on the new surface, but looking for a ride, man. If you need, we can come get the car. I got a great crew. We can bring our own tires, own fuel, all that other stuff. But and then if we happen to win anything, it's all yours. You guys keep it all. I just want to be a part of the race, and I don't want to tear my asphalt stuff apart. So
yeah,
but
that's the thing. So everything is
asphalt. We would have to change so much stuff. You know what I mean? And I don't want to.
It's too much.
One of these days I will. Mike I got an open wheel seat. We love Kyle. So, Mike, man, you got the wheels turning, brother.
Been there, done that, no?
Yeah, Mike. I drove Mike's car once, and it didn't
end too well.
It didn't. Yeah, and it was one of those truly not my fault.
Mike, we'll let you rescind that offer.
I don't know, Mike. Maybe we'll chat, man. I'll hit you up. Maybe we'll do something. Listen, a lot of racing still going on, and man, if you're on social media, I say this all the time, and you're bashing the place, dude, you are part of the problem. And I commend Bethel Motor Speedway; they are now starting to toss people. If you run your mouth on social media, they're tossing people. But go out and support your local racetrack, man. Support. I can't say this enough.
Now more than ever.
Yeah, listen, dude, this kid was awesome tonight, Kyle. I absolutely, I loved the interview. It was a good show. Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you all for watching on Facebook and YouTube and all that other stuff, man. We appreciate you, dude. We're almost 2 years into this.
Yeah, amazing.
I think we're creeping up on what, 6,000 followers now?
Yeah,
dude, that's wow.
Who would have thought?
That's awesome. So, but
just
something
right, folks, that we just threw together. Like,
listen, you threw it together, I show up.
Listen, I'll keep getting the guests. You just show up.
Okay. So, Charlie Donald, I know Rob Sedato is actually talking to him, and I know eventually we're going to get Charlie on the show here.
He actually messaged me and said he wants to come on. Yep. He'll be coming on.
And Charlie's he's a hell of a character. Two-time Orange County Fair Speedway Street Stock champ. I want to say he's like third on the all-time win list there. Really, good dude. Good family, stuff like that. So, all right, folks, that's gonna do it for me. I think I got some meatloaf waiting for me.
That's what I had.
Is it?
That's it.
Yeah. Listen, I'm marathon training now.
And you're eating meatloaf.
Listen, man, got to get that protein in, brother.
Okay.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for us. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hit that like button, all that other good stuff. Thank you to Nick Stevens, TGIR Merch, ABC Designs, of course, our awesome design banner in the back here, Mr. Andy Crane. I'm glad he's feeling
better. Do we know what the deal is?
Andy?
Yeah, well, I didn't know he crashed.
I had a brake issue. He tried to ride it out, and it did not go well. So the car's hurt pretty bad, and so he broke some ribs, got knocked out. He took a tumble, but he's good to go. He's, I was talking to him a little bit Sunday and stuff like that. Dan Martin reached out to me and, told me, he said, listen, man, you want to check on your buddy there? Well, he said butt buddy, but whatever. Andy's good to go, man. Tough dude. But yeah, it was not good. Not good.
That sucks. So,
but we've all been there,
Oh, yeah.
It's the,
nature of the beast.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, sometimes that's the price we pay, man. We all know what the ultimate deal is. So. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much. Get out and support your local racetrack. If you're on social media bashing the place, you're part of the problem. See you next week.